Unit, oop, I just hit the camera. Unit 4.7. Super easy. It's going to take you 3 seconds to get this, and then we can move on. Right, 4.7 is all about vertical and horizontal lines. Right, so we know if a line is straight up vertical like this, it's called undefined. And we know if it's straight left and right like this, it's zero slope, right? But how do we know where to put the line? How do we know where to graph the line if they just give us a blank coordinate plane? That's what we're going to figure out today. All right, so a vertical line is written in the form x equals a, where a represents the line's x-intercept. So wherever this is on the x-axis, right, this is at 1, 2, 3, so this is x equals 3. That's the equation for that line. It doesn't have an equation that crosses the y-axis because it never crosses the y-axis. In fact, if it's x equals something, then it's going to be parallel to the y-axis. You see how they're parallel? On the other hand, you have a horizontal line. It's written, it only crosses your y-axis. The place where it crosses your y-axis, right, in this case -1, so your y is -1 because it never crosses the x-axis. It's parallel to the x-axis, right? So the equation, I already wrote it, right? X equals 3 for that one, and y equals -1 for that one. And if they asked you for the slope, this is undefined, and that's 0. Remember, if the line intersects the x-axis, it's x equals something. If a line intersects the y-axis, it's y equals something, right? So write the equation. Write the equation of the line shown on the graph. So I'm going to work the odd ones, and you're going to work the even ones. All right, so the first thing I want you to do by looking at this, I want you to be able to tell me off the top of your head, this is undefined. That's the slope, undefined. Slope, 0. You should be able to tell me that automatically. This is vertical, this is horizontal. This one is parallel to the y-axis, this one is parallel to the x-axis. Things you should be able to tell me right off the top of your head. Right? Now, in order to figure out the equation, you find the origin, and then you count to where it crosses that axis. This crosses the x-axis, so you're going to put x. It crosses the x-axis at -2. That's it. Right? So,
Mr. Reckless, please report to the front office. Mr. Reckless,
this
please
one
report to the front office.
crosses the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. That's all you have to do is tell me exactly where it crosses the x or y axis. This one is literally on top of the y-axis. You got to look carefully. The arrows, there's little arrows to show the axes, and then there's this big arrow to show the line. It's on top of the y-axis, right? So where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses at 0. All right. Moving on to number 7. This time they're going to give us the equation, and we have to draw the line. So what you need to remember is if it says y is equal to 5, you're going to put a dot on the y-axis. You're going to put a point on the y-axis at +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A nice clear dot, a nice clear point. All right? And then because it's y, it's going to be parallel to the x-axis. So you know your line has to go like this. All right, this one says x equals 3, positive 3. So on our x-axis, we're going to put a point at positive 3. And because it's x, it's going to be parallel. Our line is going to be parallel to the y-axis. I know it seems really simple, and that's why I said this is just a quick side jump so that you understand what these equations look like, right? On the y-axis at positive 4, and it's going to be parallel to the x-axis. I know. All right, so a couple of questions. What is the slope of the line y equals 4? If you go up 4 and put a point and draw it parallel to the x-axis, your slope is going to be 0, right? M equals 0. You have to visualize it. If it helps, draw it, but it's going to take you a lot of time to do that. Learn to visualize it. Go back up and use one of the graphs that's already there and create a visual in your mind. What is the slope of the line x equals 0? Straight up and down. So it's going to be undefined. There is no slope. Which axis is x equal 4 parallel to? If it's got the point at x equals positive 4, the line's going to be vertical, which means it's going to be parallel to the y-axis. It's going to be parallel to the y-axis. All right, so you do the odds. No, I did the odds. You do the evens. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and you're welcome to try 18. I would love to see what you come up with. Some of you might have realized how easy this is and you've got it figured out. Short but sweet.